Okay, so what does a typical tender process, contract award, procurement process look like? Well, this is it, or at least this is what many people think it looks like. It starts with a tender. A buyer says, I want to buy X, Y, and Z. They put out a tender process. Suppliers have a period of time to respond. Then they decide who they want to work with and they award a contract. That is often what people think it looks like. And maybe it kind of looks a little bit similar to this for the most simple possible procurement ever, but it's rare that this is really the case. And even in this example, when the tender happens in March, in January and February, other things would have been happening for sure, even for a simple procurement. So, what does it really look like? So, this is again an example timeline, but it talks about what the reality is around a proper procurement activity, particularly ones for higher value opportunities into the hundreds of thousands and millions. This is more of a typical process. So, I'm going to talk you through this morning. So, right at the beginning, demand emerges, something's happening which drives a need. All procurement that happens is driven by a business need, something that the organization needs, a problem to solve, something to buy. Then there's some analysis and market research. So the buyer and the organization as a whole try and educate themselves as to different ways that the market can help them solve that problem, or maybe how they can solve it internally. And then they go to develop a strategy. So how are they going to go about this? What is the approach they're going to take? I'll talk through all these steps in more detail shortly. And then the procurement planning happens. So this is more the nuts and bolts of the procedural type of things about how things happen. And then we go into more of the kind of classic process that you may be thinking of as a tender process.